Ordinary people think that happiness is short-lived and fleeting. Why? Because ordinary people base their happiness on dependence on external materials. The difference between ordinary people and saints lies in the source of their happiness. For ordinary people, happiness is fleeting because it depends on external factors like a stable family or good health. We often ask, how can I be happy without health or with a troubled family? These are external dependencies. When your happiness relies on them, you're just ordinary. Saints, however, experience an eternal and unconditional inner peace. If you really cultivate to the level of Mahatma Gandhi, right, or a high monk like this, his inner peace is permanent, then happiness, like pain, is a reaction to our inner state. There is a case here. He said that one day he was sitting in Nepal and saw a few practitioners who went to Nepal for short-term cultivation. One of them was cursing the horrible weather because it rained in Nepal and the ground was full of mud. The man came over on the mud and said that it was terrible. He should not have come to Nepal because the messy roads were not repaired. A Westerner complained. Then he found another funny person in the distance playing in the mud. He was jumping from one place to another and then asked if he looked like someone in a kung fu movie. He thought he looked like someone in a kung fu movie. You see, the foreign debt environment is exactly the same, right? The foreign debt environment is the muddy environment of Nepal. Some people will complain, get angry, and feel unbearable because their inner state of reaction is pain. So if we advocate that everyone should learn to gain happiness by changing the way we look at the world, there is a very important distinction here, which is whether you are whitewashing the truth or not. Or is it removing the toxins from the heart? This is crucial. If we call this chicken soup for the soul, what does that really mean? It's comforting to act as if everything is perfect, as if life is peaceful and all is well. If you're okay, it's like a sunny day. However, this doesn't truly cleanse the negativity in your heart. To genuinely see the world differently, it must come from a deep understanding of the essence of things. I emphasize that this book isn't feel-good literature. Rather, it encourages a difficult path of self-discovery. To take this path, one must see the true nature of all things. Understanding the essence means recognizing that nothing, not even oneself, is worth obsessive attachment in this world. A lot of our suffering comes from excessive attachment to the self. So when we talk about the way to happiness later, the first way to happiness is to correctly understand the self. Imagine you're calmly rowing on the tranquil West Lake when suddenly your boat is hit. Instinctively, you might feel frustrated and angry, wondering how someone could be so careless. You might even rush to confront them. However, as you get closer, you discover that the boat that collided with yours is unmanned, having drifted away from its mooring. Does this change your feelings? Do you still feel angry and upset? You'd probably laugh, right? You might think, wow, I'm really unlucky today. Why? Because there's no one to be mad at, and your ego isn't hurt. No one actually wronged you. It was just an unmanned boat drifting by. So why were you angry before? Why did the same situation upset you earlier? When you magnify your ego, you will feel that you are being bullied, that someone is bullying you, and that emotion will come immediately. So even if the same thing is there, the reaction to pain is completely different due to the different egos. After joining us, the ego is raised and anger comes. At the FAR conference, one of their fellow practitioners was meditating there. One day, he suddenly felt someone punched him from behind in the chaotic crowd. Oh, he said, how could such a comfortable person hit someone? He was so angry. Then he sat there for a long time and couldn't concentrate, and he was still angry. After half an hour, he suddenly realized something. You know what you realize? He said the pain had long gone, and it was gone in less than 5 seconds after the beating. But he was angry for more than half an hour. It is because he feels that someone is targeting me, and I am very angry, right? So I personally think that the direction of learning happiness that Matthew Richards gave us is correct. It must come from a thorough transformation of our inner selves so that we can really see the essence of things and realize that namelessness brings troubles. What is namelessness? Namelessness means that you don't know, you don't understand what the essence is like. You take it as the truth. You think these things are real bullying, pain, and deprivation happening to you, right? So you will feel particularly angry. You take yourself too seriously, too seriously. So when you can really realize the existence of the selflessness, no, then your mentality will change immediately. In life, many people have a wrong understanding of happiness, thinking that happiness means paying off the mortgage. If you buy me a Mercedes-Benz, I'll be happy. If you give me more money, I'll be happy. But when selfish happiness becomes the sole aim, life seems to lose its meaning. Romain Rolland once said this, and it was a popular quote. True happiness, however, comes from looking inward. Some say happiness is about being yourself, having a unique personality, and doing what you love. Yet many people hide their spiritual laziness by being diligent in material pursuits. For instance, they claim the parent-child relationship is important and say they've put in a lot of effort. I asked him what efforts he made. I sent him the best training class. If you believe your child's education has issues, you might keep sending them to training classes, attend summer camps, and spend thousands of dollars thinking you're making a big investment. But have you really changed as a father? Have you improved your spiritual state? Without that change, no matter how many classes your child attends, you're just focusing on external efforts. This is what we call material diligence, appearing hardworking, but masking spiritual laziness and an unwillingness to change. Can we truly find happiness this way? Matthew Richard firmly believes that happiness can be developed as a skill. When you begin to understand your inner self and know that you want to continuously improve your ability to be happy, you will realize that happiness is a skill that you can develop like a muscle. It is not something that you can develop by talking about it or suddenly being happy. You need to continuously train yourself.